Hello, I am Dr. Jingjing Lin, currently an assistant professor from the site in Toyohashi University of Technology. I'm also the founder of ResearchIC.com. I'm intending to use this video to share my own experience of locating, reading, and organizing educational research literature. Hopefully, it can benefit your research. So this video is composed of several videos I produced before because I'm always very passionate about sharing videos from my research activities on YouTube. So lately, I also delivered a keynote in a conference related to artificial intelligence and education. So I put these different videos together to express or to share on this topic. I hope you will find it useful. Let's start this journey, shall we?
Scholarly reading is much like visiting researchers' mental space. You are going to see all different kinds of mental spaces. The papers actually demonstrate you how a researcher actually thinks, talks, stores information, argues, things like that. If you keep visiting very messy articles, it's like keep visiting very messy space. You cannot find much. You cannot find much things there. But if you keep visiting very organized, very reasonably creative mental space, you're going to be inspired every time when you visit them and eventually accumulate this experience and knowledge to become a very healthy and effective scientific reader. Therefore, it is very important to select who you read, whose work you read, whose mental space you visit. I don't know if you are familiar with the Pareto principle. This principle was proposed by an Italian economist. His name is Vilfredo Pareto in late 1890s. The observation was that 20% of the population in Italy owned 80% of the lands back then. Later on, this principle was found to apply to many domains in life. And if we also borrow it to the research domain, we may also argue 20% of scholars authored 80% of the most influential papers, or 20% of the journals received actually 80% of the citation counts by journals in that domain. If we use this mental model, we can also look for the most cited work in our topic following Pareto principle. Let's give it a try with a small example. So I recorded a video here. I'm going to show you very briefly. Using Scopus as the database, I search for e-learning as the keyword. And within the results that returned, I limited by some filter on the platform by applying, for instance, English as the language, social science as the subject, e-learning as a required keyword, and then that would narrow down the whole list to a shorter list. Then I will sort it by the citation counts from highest to the lowest. There you go. We have a list that has the most cited work at the top of it. And you will see that, the most cited works, mostly they actually come from one single journal called Computers and Education. Well, the same approach can be used to discover what are the most cited conference papers, which can help you to actually decide what conferences can you go to in order to meet all other e-learning researchers who publish on these topics. And the result of this is most of conference papers that got widely cited actually came from conferences that were organized by two academic associations. One was IEEE and another one is ACM. It can actually help us to decide on some actions. One is that you become regular reader of the journal Computers and Education, and develop this habit as reading your favorite magazine. Second one is you are going to consider maybe joining IEEE and ACM as academic members to attend their conferences. And this small practice can actually project a lot of hints into the importance of locating where to locate the frequently read or most cited work or the communities in your domain.
In this video, I am demonstrating my workflow of conducting literature review utilizing three tools: Zotero, Excel, and Notion. So the first step you can see on the screen, on the left I have the Zotero reference management software, on the right is the Excel. I copy the title of one reference from Excel table to Zotero, and I search for the existing PDF file in this reference, rename it according to the metadata. I open the PDF file and started abstracting information from it into the Excel table. So I predefined several fields that I would like to input information, such as is this reference with full text? What is the research purpose? What is the research type? Where is the research site? Things like this. So I will go through the whole document by skimming the content, not in-depth reading, okay, just to get the information briefly from the document, because the purpose of this Excel table is to organize the information from each document and then compare them. So when there's information existing for one particular column in the Excel table, I will write it down. But if it doesn't, I will write an A into the cell. So I will read through the PDF documents, highlighting some important information. And along this process, I will try to finish the Excel table on the row of this literature. So as for the color, I don't have a particular color system for annotating a PDF document, but some of you may have. So if you can share in the comment section of this video to also let me learn from you, that would be great. And yeah, for some columns of this document, it's NA, NA, NA. And we're going to fast forward this annotating process, so you will understand how I annotate and highlight some titles to have a better structure sensation of the whole document. So the purpose of this skimming is not to read the document in much detail, but only to collect desirable information from it and get an overview of the whole document. So the next step is to open the Notion that is linked to this reference. And so I have already pre-linked both Zotero and Notion, so under each reference you will find a Notion link. I just double click it, and then you'll jump to the reference record inside my Notion database, and I will just fill in the information as I did with the Excel table. And I will write a short note about this reference based on the first time reading. So here is to basically write a summary of what you have understood from skimming the literature, and this can become the very beginning of your perhaps next reading of the literature, if you mark it as to read again or very important. So all these fields that you can see on the interface of my record here, they're predefined. So this is the my reference library database in Notion. As you can see, there are different views to it. I just opened the literature I read earlier from this library. But I also have the Sleepbox database, which records permanent notes. So for each paper I read here, I will write a literature note summarizing what this literature about. So I record the notes here in this database. And this each reference record is directly automatically injected from my Zotero database. So here you can see the Sleepbox system. I have to record permanent notes. So it follows the Zettelkasten method. And outside of this literature I just read, I would like to add one new note here. So there are some predefined fields as well to input the information, and you can also add link to the reference, and you can also add a text and interlink with other notes you have in the system. Okay, now I will repeat this procedure with the second paper. Again, copy the title into the Zotero, look for the reference in the software, search for the PDF file. If there isn't, click to view this reference online and search for the PDF. So you can click, search existing PDF file as well from the Zotero interface, but sometimes you don't see that, so you have to search on the internet manually. But with this record, it is possible to edit through the interface of Zotero. So again, I rename the file and I open it and look for the desirable data from the paper and input them one by one into the Excel table. So after that, I again open the Notion literature page and write the summary note of this literature and fill in the necessary data according to the predefined fields. Sometimes for some literature that you imported into Zotero, there's no full text PDF file automatically attached. So I have to use some online search tools such as Google Scholar to look for the full text PDF file, download it, and attach it as attach it to the reference record inside the Zotero. So the Zotero import function doesn't always import the right format of the reference. So you always need to double check and fill in the correct information to adjust the format, things like that. So when you download the PDF file, you don't need to worry about the name of the file because you can automatically rename it inside Zotero. have finished my sharing on this topic. I hope the content was to a degree helpful to you. I also would like to welcome all global educational researchers to join 100 Online Journal Club events to share with the global audience how you read the educational research literature. I hope that all our sharings together will transform or at least benefit the community of education science and beyond. Thank you very much.